Hello everyone, Beastie here. I am back with another video. Today I'll be teaching you and showing you how to do Battle Mech on the new patch. So this is a playstyle that existed in the beginning of the Legacy of the Void, and now it is back because the Cyclones are reverted to what they used to be, which is good. They used to be good. And now, well, they are once again. So in this video, I'll be covering specifically Terran versus Zerg Battle Mech playstyle. I'm going to be talking through a build order, how you should move your units, how to counteract the Zerg's counters to your units, and I'll be talking about where you can see more gameplay videos of this specific playstyle. So one thing I wanted to mention before we start, I will be doing Battle Mech for Terran versus Protoss, Battle Mech for Terran versus Terran, and of course this one, which is Terran versus Zerg. And also I'll be making a lot of Protoss guides for all three matchups. Just need to figure out what kind of playstyles in Protoss arsenal you guys would like to see. But let's just start this one, and let's kind of start talking about the basics and cover everything there is in this playstyle in this guide. So first things first, you can go for both gas first or barracks first into gas builds. Both are fine. Like always, if you go gas first, you will get the faster tech, but you will not have that extra marine that you get from barracks into gas build to kind of protect you against pull first and also the 90 Overlord vision. So what is Battle Mech? Battle Mech is a playstyle consisting of pretty much no siege tanks. Yeah, no siege tanks at all, and it is mech. Battle Mech is a very mobile mech that what you want to be doing with it is constantly be aggressive, constantly be out there on the map, trade with the Zerg, and you're kind of like the Zerg in this matchup in a way. And if you're a bio player and you've never played mech because you thought it was too annoying or too boring or whatever, well, this is the mech for you. You'll be very active on the map, like I said. You're going to want to trade with Zerg, and you're going to want to force the Zerg to make units constantly, to engage into your Cyclones when you get those juicy lock-ons, and just destroy the Zerg completely. So in this specific game, I am going for gas first variation. Like I said, if you want to go barracks first, if that's something you're used to, that is fine as well. I'm going to go fast expand, and from here on out, it will move into kind of like standard, I guess, TVZ mech from the, for the past pretty much 8 years. You're going to get your 111 going, you're going to get reactor Hellions, you're going to get starport, into a third base, into more factories. But I'm going to talk about the differences where the build takes and what kind of different variations you have. So, for example, one of the variations that you can do is once you get your starport up, you have the option, and I've always talked about this in my guides in Terran vs Zerg, you always have the option. You can go for Raven first, if that's something you like. You can go into Liberator first, into Cloak Banshee, or you can go into Medevac, drop 4 Hellions in the main base of Zerg, and then go into the Cloak Banshee. The important part is just get the Cloak Banshee either straight away or after you do your Liberator or after you do your Medevac. That's up to you. In this game, I go for specifically Cloak Banshee straight away opener, since it is the most kind of like basic one, right? There's not a lot of swapping around or Medevac into Banshee or whatever. Just go straight into Cloak Banshee, very straightforward. And this playstyle is great because you have those Banshees very early on, so you can defend against any kind of Roach all-ins or just Bane all-ins in general. And you might be wondering, well, how do I deal with the Roaches? How do I deal with the Mutants? How do I deal with Swarm? I'm gonna touch upon all of it. So first things first is your main unit composition is Hellions, Cyclones, and Cloak Banshees. A lot of Cloak Banshees. You will not stop making Cloak Banshees pretty much throughout the whole game. So why Cloak Banshees? Mass roaches will absolutely demolish your Cyclone Hellion army, because they will just overwhelm your cyclones, and you won't get the kind of the value of the cyclones before all your cyclones actually just die, because there's a lot of roaches. So your banshees are actually your backbone of your army. Your banshees are basically the siege tanks. So you might be wondering, well, why don't you just make siege tanks? They do more damage, right? You just siege them up and they're there and that's it. Well, the reason why you don't go for siege tanks is very simple. This is battle mech, this is mobile. Siege tanks are the complete opposite. You can't move around on the map with siege tanks as easy. Mutas counter siege tanks, swarm hosts counter siege tanks, broodlords counter siege tanks, and they're just slow. And they're not, let's be honest, they're not that great, right? There's a lot of different styles and things you can do against siege tanks to kind of outplay them and outmaneuver them. Now, before I keep talking, I made Banshees, made Reactor Hellions, the whole time. I'm getting my third, and what I'm going to do now is add 2 more factories, and I'm going to add double gas on the natural, and then my armory. So, why are Banshees better? Well, like I said, first, the mobility. Banshees can keep up with your army at all times with Cyclones and Hellions, especially because you will be getting the Banshee speed later on in the game. They can snipe bases in the mid to late game very nicely. They can kill roaches, you can push with the Banshees, and they're just overall much better than the siege tanks in this specific playstyle. Now, one thing I want to mention is, before I do that, so another thing why Banshees are great. You guys know that if you played Mech, or if you've never played Mech but you heard about it, swarm hosts destroy Mech quite hard. And that's because of siege tanks. Siege tanks are slow. Once locusts are used, you can't really run away. You can't really engage into swarm hosts with siege tanks. And you're just kind of there, and, well, locusts just eat up your siege tank out slowly, and then you lose the game. Well, the great thing about this playstyle is not only you can chase them down with Cyclone Hellion because you're super mobile and you can literally just go at the swarm hosts, have them use their locusts, and then you just chase them down and beat them down. But also you have the Cloak Banshees that will have Banshee speed, which will completely destroy and deny swarm hosts. The great part about Banshees in this specific playstyle is it's impossible for the Zerg to kill them unless you as a Terran make a mistake and run into Hydras, or you run into Queens or Spores or whatever. Speed Banshees will outrun or outfly, I guess, Corruptors. They will outfly Mutas, outfly Banshees, outfly everything. So make sure that you don't lose the Banshees and the Cyclones in this playstyle. They're extremely important. Your Hellions are basically your tanking unit. Now let's keep moving on. Now that I sold you on the Banshees being amazing in here, let's talk about the armory. You can see the armory is very late, and I didn't do any kind of Hellion or Hellbat push, sorry. The reason why the armory is late is because, once again, this style is all about efficiency and all about trading. How mech should be, right? So you don't want to blindly just go for an attack, because that's not your thing. Your thing is the mid game, the Cyclones, the Banshees, and the Hellbats. Now, if you should be poking with your Hellions, you should be harassing with your Banshees, trying to get some drone kills, but do not lose the Banshees. That's very important. Don't get 2 extra drones but lose the Banshee because of it. It's not worth it. Now, if you're harassing with Hellions, on this side, and you see there's not many Zerglings, you can go for the run by and try to do some damage to the drone line. But if you see there's roaches and there's like 6 queens and like 20 lings, don't go for the run by. Just, try to deny a creep tumor or 2, but that's about it. Now, your 2 factories are up and running. The second and third factory, you want to have tech labs on them for the Cyclones. In this patch, you need tech lab for the Cyclones specifically. You cannot produce them from reactor anymore. And the moment you land the factories, start to Cyclones, and then get the upgrades, which is the Blue Flame and the Mag Field Accelerator for the Cyclones. Will basically increases your damage to armored targets by another 400, so you're going to deal 800 damage with the lock-on, which is just insane. Throughout this whole time, keep producing Banshees, don't stop, don't just make 2, keep producing them. And another interesting thing you're going to see in the production tab is I'm not getting the attack upgrades. Why? Well, because you don't really care about your attack upgrades on the Hellions, because they're just the meat of the army. They're there to tank for your Cyclones and Banshees. Your Cyclone's main ability damage is the lock-on, which is a spell. It's an ability, right? So by upgrading the weapons, you're not really increasing the damage on the lock-on. You're only increasing the damage on the auto attack of the Cyclones, which is garbage. And the reason why it's garbage is its DPS is okay, but you never want to be standing, you know, right here and shooting at the depots, for example. You want to lock on and run away. That's what you want to do. You want to constantly lock on, run away, come back. And the best upgrade that you can have at this point is the armor upgrade. I would suggest going up to at least +2 armor, maybe even +3 armor, before moving into ship weapons for your Banshees. So once you get this maxed out and this maxed out, that's when you want to get the vehicle weapons upgraded as well. And the great thing about this playstyle is that you're only getting 1 armory, so it gives you more money for the unit count. Once you start your 4th and 5th factory and your 2nd and 3rd starport, which I'm about to talk about, then you will want to get hyperflight rotors for your Cloak Banshees as well, just to give them more mobility and just that speed, which then you can snipe the hatcheries and outmaneuver the Zerg army completely. So, okay, let's keep talking. So, what is another important part about this? Well, how many factories and how many production buildings you need off of 2-3 base. So, off of 2 base, you want to have 3 factories, 2 tech labs, 1 store per producing Banshees. Once you get your 3rd set up, you want to have 5 factories, 4 with tech labs, 1 with reactor. That's very, very important. So, 4 tech labs, because you're going to need a lot of Cyclones. And then you want to move into 3 starports in total together with those 5 factories, because you want to get a lot of those Banshees out and just threaten the Zerg at all times with like 10 Banshees with speed. They can snipe the hatcheries extremely quickly, so if the Zerg is out of position for even 1 second, you will absolutely destroy his bases. Now, important thing about this specific style is to keep expanding. You can. This is not. Remember, this is not the old mech. This is more of a bio than it is mech. You want to keep expanding because you're trading with Zerg. You don't want to go into these full-on engagements where you just a move and that's it. You want to constantly trade, whether it's speaking of bases or killing drones with Hellions or trading Cyclone, lock-ons for some roaches. You want to constantly trade, and the way you want to win is by having more bases in the Zerg, because your army is so mobile, you can destroy their run-bys while you're doing a run-by on their bases, whether it's with Cyclone Lock-On or Cloak Banshees. So make sure to constantly expand, because you're not running on 2-3 reactors in the factory. You will have a lot of minerals. You can see I'm producing more factories here, up to 5 total, and then extra 2 starports for those Cloak Banshees, producing another CC, already have a 4th base as my 3rd was landing, and just never stop expanding. Just keep going, make more orbitals, more planetary, just keep landing them, keep rolling that economy. Don't get stuck on 3-4 bases for the rest of the game. You have to think a little bit like bio and Zerg, like a mix of it, in order for this playstyle to work. So if you're the kind of player that just wants to camp and move out, this playstyle is probably not going to work out for you too well. You really, really want to be active on the map and trade more and more. +2 armor for the vehicles coming up. And soon this replay will end. This replay was pretty much just kind of like build order and just me explaining what to do, when to do it, why to do it, and so on. Now let's talk about units and how to counter specific units. Well, if you're playing against Roach, Ling, Hydra, Banes, you want to play it, same. You don't really change anything. You don't change your playstyle. Just keep trading with lock-ons, trade with Banshees, and so on. Don't get tempted to be like, oh, I'm going to add siege tanks now. They're not really going to help
Mineral
you.
field depleted.
You know, if the Zerg is going super duper all in off of like 60 drones and you know 100% it's an all in, yes, you can add siege tanks, but then you have to move back into the cyclone production. The thing about cyclones is the more you have them, the better they are. Because instead of locking onto 3 roaches, you can lock onto 15 roaches at the same time and then trade, you know, just way, way better. So how do you deal with mutas? Do you make Thors? Hell no! You see these bad boys right here? They eat mutas for breakfast. If Zerg goes for mutas and you have cyclones, you will absolutely destroy mutas. 10 cyclones will lock onto 10 mutas, they will all die. Great thing about cyclones is they have very, very smart AI, which allows them to lock onto different targets. So you will not have cyclones lock onto the same target if there are multiple targets nearby. So if the Zerg has 10 mutas and you have 10 cyclones, they will lock onto 10 different mutas and all the mutas are going to die at the same time. That's an amazing thing. Now, what do you do if they go swarm host? Again, try to outmaneuver them. Literally just chase them down with your army and beat them down. Because if they use locust, just run away. Chase down the swarm host and just torture them for all the years they've been torturing Mech players. I hate swarm hosts. Anyway.
Upgrade is ready for you.
So swarm hosts should not be a problem for you. What else can we talk about? Ultras are completely garbage against this playstyle. I mean, Cyclones will deal 800 damage to them, and the Cloak Banshees that obviously Ultras can't touch. If they go Corruptors, it might be a little dangerous if they go like Corruptor Roach Army, because Corruptors beat Banshees. What you want to be doing there is keep trading, and eventually you can... So for example, let's say the Zerg pumps out 20 Corruptors to deal with your Banshees. Move your production full into the ground, so then you're gonna overwhelm the roaches on the ground, and then your Cyclones can just kill the Corruptors, and then you resume your Banshee production. If the Zerg goes for what else? Infestors can be a really good counter to this. So the Infestors are probably the scariest thing, I would say, which is kind of weird to say against Mech, because usually Infestors are terrible against Mech. The reason for that is if your Cyclones get fungal, they're very squishy. They only have 120 health. If your Cyclones get fungal and then Roach Ravager pushes into your Cyclones, you will get absolutely wrecked. So that's something you need to be very, very careful about, but that's where Banshees, you know, come in handy, where you can pre-split your Banshees a little bit and then scan and chase down those Infestors and kill them. So that's something you need to be careful about. Don't change anything, you know, severe, like don't start making some random units, but just be careful of the Infestors. Now, the question that I'll probably get is what I do versus Vipers and Broodlords. Vipers are actually not a problem, because if they pull your Cyclones, like let's say one Viper pulls a Cyclone, well, your other Cyclones are going to lock onto the Viper, kill it, and Viper is more expensive than Cyclone, so you're trading better, so you don't care. And if the Zerg goes for Broodlords, that's where you want to basically try to run by everywhere and make their Broodlords inefficient because they're so slow, and that's when you want to try beat the Zerg on the economy by killing their bases, and behind in your own base you can make a couple of Thors, you can make some Vikings, some battle cruisers, because obviously if the Zerg has full army of Corruptors, Broodlords, you know, have some Banshees on the map to snipe the bases, but start making anti-air units to deal with those Broodlords when the Zerg eventually loses too many bases and decides to go for the kill. Now, if you're playing games and you're constantly losing to Broodlords, you're probably not putting enough pressure on the Zerg, because Zerg should have extremely, extremely hard time actually moving into Broodlords if you're constantly attacking and constantly trading. So make sure you're doing it at all times. Don't slow down. And that's pretty much it. Now, I know you guys will probably ask, well, you know, how do I play this in actual games? Where's the gameplay example? Where are the replays? Well, I have great news for you. not only I'll be doing Battle Mech guides for all 3 matchups, but I'll also be doing a Battle Mech 2 Grandmaster series. Now, this won't be just the usual series. I will not be starting on a fresh new account because I have some experience in Terran and some experience in Mech. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll be playing either on my main account, which I think is 6.3k on EU, or I'll be playing on one of my second accounts that's, you know, 6.1, 6.2k, which is top 50, 60, 70 GM on European server, and I'll be playing against top EU players with this specific style, and I'll be uploading all those games onto my YouTube channel for, you know, all 3 matchups basically, against Zerg, against Terran, against Protoss. So if you want the gameplay examples and how do you play this, check out that series. It should be up a day or 2 or 3 from the moment you see this guide. And that should be a lot of fun. I'm excited to play some Terran again. I love Mech, and this kind of brings a little hope in me for Mech. It's a lot of fun. I already played some games. And if you're, you know, super impatient and you can't wait and you want to see it right now, I suggest checking out the series Euthermal vs. Raynor at the Home Story Cup, where Euthermal did this kind of playstyle and did quite well with it. But that is it from me today, boys. I hope you guys learned something new today. I hope you try out this Battle Mech. It's really, really fun, and it actually works, which is weird to say as Mech. But that's pretty much it. Let me know what you thought about it. Let me know if you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to like the video so that algorithm from YouTube gets the video going and suggests it to more and more people. Leave a comment if you would like to see you know, more Terran guides, more Protoss guides, what kind of guides you would like to see. Let me know. But for now, that is it for me. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and make sure to check out one of my previous videos. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a very nice day, and I'll see you guys next time.